Here's the Airmaster industrial fan that I pulled out of the laundromat. It wasn't working, but that's because it wasn't hooked up properly. But the bearings were also pretty gummed up, and it was pretty dirty, so clearly it had been hooked up and working at one time. Not sure why it was changed to be hooked up improperly then if it's working. But it does seem like maybe the cap is bad. I'm going to show you high speed here. You'll see it's humming quite a bit. I did oil the bearings and not going very fast. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try changing the cap. That's as fast as it goes right there. So that's just not very fast at all. So I'm going to go and get, see if I can prop this up so you can watch it spin down while I go and get the appropriate tool to change the cap. Okay, so I've got here, the old cap is 3 microfarads. I've got a new 3 microfarad cap here that I know to be new, purple and gray. It's 3, so I'm going to get a wire nut and cap off the brown. A little small screwdriver, there's a little terminal block in here. Cap connects to motor red and to motor white. Motor red also connects to one of the wires from the supply. So let's stick the new cap in here. This is just for testing purposes. I'm not going to keep this cap here, if that solves it. Also, if I had my capacitance meter, which is at my other shop, then we could check the capacitance of the existing cap, but I don't have that on me. So not doing this quite the way that I'd like, but I'm trying to do it quickly because the camera's running and I have somewhere to be, and so we'll see if we can get any progress on this for the time being. Nope, that didn't hold. That's what I hate about these little terminal blocks. If I do it permanently, I would tin the ends, basically cover them, coat them in solder, and then it makes a much stronger connection. Okay, just going to sit that on top of the other one. Hopefully it'll stay there and not. Actually, what I'd like to do is get some electrical tape. And just tape it in place temporarily. Because again, this is just for testing purposes to see if the fan goes any differently with the replacement cap. So I'm just going to tape it in place temporarily. Just so that it doesn't get in the way while we're testing. Of course, everything's very oily, so the tape isn't sticking very well, but we just need it to hold just for a little bit. Not my best work, but we'll try it. Let's see if it performs any differently. Now it's just humming. So what that says to me is that something here is not making a good connection. Okay. Well, that appears to be going exactly the same speed. So, I think what we have here is just a shitty fan. I'm going to put the original cap back in place, and we'll try it with the control on all the speeds. But, that's disappointing, although not surprising. I've known that these were not great. I could, of course, up it to a 4 microfarad cap. That wouldn't be ideal for the motor, but it's not a big enough jump for it to really cause a problem. And I don't know how big of a difference. You know what? Let's see if I have one. Why not? Here's a 4.5. File this under "Don't try this at home," because I really don't advise upping the capacitor value in any fan that's going to see any frequent or constant use. I really don't recommend doing it in any fan that you care about at all. But for the sake of video here, let's give it a try. I wish I had in mind. Well, I do have an amp meter, actually. So we could also... that would take some more wiring. Just wire it in series with the amp meter. So and I will... That's not making a good connection. That's what it was before too. The neutral was loose. Okay. You know what? I'm not even going to use the terminal block here. I'm just going to wire nut them. See if I can just tuck this inside there, and then I don't have to worry about taping it. Yeah, it's gonna hit. Oh, we'll try it there for now. That's more of the performance we would expect. But of course that's not correct, because that is not the correct capacitor value. Honestly, I'm not going to play with this too much. I don't particularly care for these. I like the old Crompton Greaves versions, and I also like the British versions, but I have very little affection for these. Okay, let's try it with control. That was high. Let's try it on low. This fan would probably be great as a movie prop. Just have a nice slow-moving fan that doesn't really serve much purpose as a commercial fan, if you ask me. Low, medium low. What was that, medium low? Low, medium low. It wouldn't be a bad air mover if it would just go fast enough on high, because it's getting a decent breeze for the speed that it's going. Let's do medium high. Okay, let's do the same thing but with the original cap, which we have discovered is surprisingly not bad given its performance. If I do end up using this fan anywhere, I suppose I might up the capacitor to maybe a 375 or a 4. Because after all, if it's a crappy fan and having the wrong capacitor burns it out, oh well, no major loss. Let's drop the canopy. Set it to low. Interesting that it took some time to start there on low. You saw it sat stalled for a little bit. Might be a bad spot on the rotor. So, I enjoyed having the camera propped, but I like to give you different angles, so we can do that now. Low speed. Sure is noisy. I do wish I had an amp meter hooked up to it, because given that amount of there's the medium low. I don't know if I mentioned this before, my high school had 2 of these in each gymnasium, so there's medium high. So if memory serves, that would have been 8 of them total. And they had cages on them. I didn't like them at the time, and nobody else there cared about fans, so we used to try to hit things, balls and birdies and such, into the cages and get them stuck in the blades and get the fans to stop. I, of course, was hoping if we did that, they'd replace them with something cooler. I doubt anybody else cared. Okay, come on, let's get to high. And, so they just put the fans in near the start of my freshman year, and I'm pretty sure that by my senior year, none of them worked. I also remember seeing these. There's a pet store that I used to volunteer at in middle school to take care of the animals and such. And they had, it's the first time I ever saw these. I'm pretty sure that they had the, it wasn't the pyramid lower canopy like on this one. I think it was, both canopies were like the upper canopy, but they were still the newer version, not the Crompton Greaves version. I could be wrong about that. And that pet store is still there, so I can always go there and see. So, we've already done spin down time, but might as well finish it off. Like I said, they're cool looking, but it's too bad they suck. I have the Crompton Greaves version. I was going to try to show you that one in the video too, but I couldn't figure out where it was stored. The motor is thicker, and they're just, yeah, you put them side by side and you can tell the difference. Okay, well, thanks for watching.